This episode of the Adam Carolla Show is brought to you by Simply Safe.
He's not gender neutral. In fact, he's not anything neutral. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on a choice, but they're going to mandate you get it on. Jaleel White in the studio. Got a game show on the Game Show Network. Flipside. Second season airs September 8th, and you can find it syndicated on a local station near you. Also, Roku, the Roku channel. Good to see you, Jaleel.
What's up, champ?
So, you grew up out here, right?
Born and raised, dog.
Where'd you go to high school?
South Pasadena Junior High. South Pasadena High School.
South Pasadena. So I went to North Hollywood High.
Okay.
So I'm just a Valley dude.
All right.
And there's not too many guys in the business who grew up out here.
I know.
Everyone came in from somewhere else.
Yeah, with big ideas.
Yeah, but you were here already.
Yeah, I was already here, man.
And if you want info, by the way, Growing Up Urkel's the name of the memoir. It's available as we speak. It's out there. So you get that part at 12, but before that, you're acting, you're doing commercials and that kind of stuff?
Probably done about 50 national commercials, from Toys R Us Kid to Oreos, SpaghettiOs, Apple Jacks.
Is this your idea, or is this somebody in your family's idea?
Nah, this was, it's an old story, so I try to chop through it as quickly as possible, but my preschool teacher thought I was kind of funny, and she was an Asian woman who owned a terrific preschool in the South Central Los Angeles, and her only thought was to put me in an acting school. Mm-hmm. So my mom said, "What the heck?" My mom worked at the post office, and a woman came scouting kids, and that woman became the most successful child agent of all time, and she picked me at age 3.
Do you think you were like advanced at age 3? I mean, it was sort of, I don't know, some kids have timing, comedic timing, a skill linguistically. They're funny. Like, they're just all the other 3-year-olds are eating paste and staring at the ceiling, and you're cracking jokes. I mean, were you just like advanced?
I mean, again, I'm not going to use the word advanced. I'm going to let you use that word.
Well, you don't have to be advanced now, because now we're old. But I just mean, you were like a 5-year-old when you were 3.
Exactly. But put it this way, I was reading at 3, so I remember I do remember this. I actually have a vague memory of this. I went on an audition for the Toys R Us commercial gig, and as soon as I walked in, my mom said that they told me, "Oh, he's too small." Mm-hmm. And he says, "Why is he too small?" And she said, "Well, he has to be able to read the lyrics to the song." And she said, "Oh, he can read them." And I was probably about 4 at that point. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Really? Okay, stand here and read them." And I was like, "I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with."
At age 4.
It was like, my mom said I practically had the job without even going in the room, just because I could read the dang poster boards.
I learned to read when I was 29. I'm serious. I am serious. So, I had a sad realization. It's weird that we're talking about Toys R Us, but I was driving in deep North Hollywood, which I try not to do, but I grew up in North Hollywood the other day looking for some warehouse that sold sinks or something. And I was driving down, I don't know, Sherman Way or Van Owen or something, like deep North Hollywood. And I slowed down at some part, because the old neighborhood's kind of turned to a barrio now. And I slowed down and I was like, wait a minute, that was the Toys R Us building. Like, that was Valhalla. Like, once a year, you'd got to go to Toys R Us.
Yep.
And it was super far away, except for it was still in North Hollywood, and we lived in North Hollywood. It was just considered deep North Hollywood or something. We had no range back then. But I remember just sitting in traffic looking at it and being 9 years old and thinking back, and it was like a Mexican market now or something. And I got depressed. I did, because I was like, oh, yeah, Toys R Us. And they're not even around anymore, I don't think. Or they're trying to come back.
I remember the one in Culver City. That's over. It's a Target now over there by Jefferson. That was mine. When I was a kid, I used to call them and do price checks on toys that I knew I couldn't afford yet.
Really?
I wanted to check the availability. You used to have to get on. You used to be able to open up the yellow pages and just call these stores.
Let me say this about the Toys R Us franchise. They should have been too big to fail. The government should have got involved because they've been gone since 2018. And for guys of a certain age, it's really depressing when you pull into that part of town in your old neighborhood and you look up and it's Kinko's with a Starbucks attached to it or something like that. And you go, that used to be the Toys R Us. It's ruining a lot of psyches and memories.
I believe that's called a monopoly, and we've allowed that to happen in our country.
We do it with banks. We do it with other things, you know, railways and things like that.
Yeah.
We could have got some too big to fail money for Toys R Us.
That would have been nice.
I got really depressed 2 days ago when I was looking at that sign in Van Nuys, and it was gone, Daddy.
How about Circuit City? Remember that one?
You know what, Jaleel? This is the weirdest thing ever. So Sunday I was lamenting the loss of Toys R Us. About an hour ago, I was driving back. North Hollywood is where the cabinets are and the sinks are. And when you're doing a remod, you got to go to North Hollywood to look at the tile and all that stuff. Literally driving back through North Hollywood an hour ago, past the big Circuit City building. It's now something else, but I knew it well because it had the big red tile in front. And I just stopped and looked at, this is 44 minutes ago, and went, man, Circuit City. So I remember pulling into that place after I got like my first showbiz paycheck and going like, I'm going to get a CD changer that holds 80 CDs in it, you know, or whatever it was, a DVD changer. And like that excitement of buying a piece of electronic equipment back then, that our kids, everything's digital now, so they don't do it, but like going in and making that purchase on the cordless phone or a DVD carousel that held 100 DVDs or something like that. Those were simpler times.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you grew up in Pasadena. Mm-hmm. You went to Pasadena High.
I went to South Pasadena High School.
But you had to be tutored on the set, too, right?
So I was tutored on the set. However, my mother was adamant that I still attended public school during the weeks that I wasn't filming the show. So for my entire time on that show, from 12 to 21, I attended public school.
That had to be surreal.
Absolutely it was.
Because, you know, nowadays there's, 2,000 channels and 5,000 streaming shows, and everyone is like, people will go, that's the girl from Yellow Jackets. And I'll go, I don't know who any of those people. I'd have never seen that show. I don't know one of those people. I wouldn't recognize any, but there's too many people on TV. But back in the day, if you were on TV, we knew who you were.
Yeah. You
could not fly under the radar. So you had to go to school. I don't know how many weeks out of the year you shot, but were you at school half the time?
So I'd probably say we shot from July to February. Mm-hmm. And we were on a 2-week on, 1 week off, 3-week on, 1 week off schedule. Mm-hmm. And then in the spring, from February until June, I was at school full time.
So you're just showing up, walking up and down the halls.
Yeah.
On one of the hottest shows on TV. You're one of the biggest, most recognizable names on TV. And especially in that demographic, young, that's your demo.
Yeah.
So did they get over it, or was it just a constant thing every day?
It was a tough transition. I went to one school, Huntington Junior High School in San Marino, for my 7th grade year, and it wasn't working out there. And so then I transferred deeper into Pasadena to a school called Marshall.
It wasn't working out because people were bothering you, or what was it?
It was different times, Adam, so it's kind of weird to talk about. I talk about it a lot in my book. I was the only black kid in my entire school.
Well, it's interesting because Pasadena has a black population, but it's not Huntington.
No.
It's not that. And then it has an area that there's no black people.
Exactly.
In it.
So I went to school in both areas.
Uh-huh. So you went to the white school.
Yeah. I went to the white school, and it was half white and half Asian. And now Asian is completely taken over San Marino.
Right.
But I was on that line, and it was a lot of weird tensions in 1989 there. So I transferred from that school to Marshall, and that I classify Marshall as fundamental as lean on me light. You know, we might as well have needed a Joe Clark. And when I transferred there, being on the show, things actually didn't get any easier. They got worse, and I talk about that significantly in my book.
So that's a black school.
Yeah.
And so you're getting bugged and...
I'm getting bullied now, flat out bullied.
Well, I guess guys, I mean...
And I don't mean like modern bully. I mean like where you actually get your ass kicked a little bit.
Yeah, I know. People have microaggressions now. I wish somebody committed a microaggression upon me, or maybe they did thousands and I never knew it.
Yeah.
No, this is actual contact.
Yeah, no, this somebody like twice your size in the same class because they failed.
Didn't your mom understand, though? I mean, I like where her head was at.
Yeah.
And your mom sounds great.
Yeah.
Your dad was a dentist, right?
Yeah.
So you sound like you had a solid unit there. And I like where your mom's head is at, but at a certain point, it becomes impractical. Like, it's just not feasible.
Yeah, my mom did a lot of impractical things.
But she tried. I mean, her
heart was in the right place.
Listen, I have the same. I wanted my kid to work at McDonald's a few years ago.
Exactly. Here we go.
And I was like, get a job at McDonald's. And everyone said, you're rich. That's your son. He's not working. I go, it's good for him. It'd be good for him. Work at McDonald's. Oh, he doesn't need to. And I lost the argument. No. But I get the impulse as a parent to want your kids to do normal things, even if your tax bracket is not normal or the rest of their experience is not normal.
Yeah.
So your mom had that impulse.
She was big on that. My father and my mother were high school sweethearts at Crenshaw High. So she had an idea of how a boy should be raised in this city.
Crenshaw, and that's back in the day. But also back in the day, I mean, I think Kevin Costner went to Crenshaw. It wasn't all black back in the day. It was a different neighborhood. Was different.
It wasn't completely, but, it wasn't soft either.
No, but Kevin Costner's not soft.
Exactly.
So,
He's not.
I got to ask this question. It sounds crazy, but I try to figure out, I do a sandwich test to see how much mom loved you.
Uh-oh.
What kind of sandwich? How did she rank on the sandwich scale? Now, I'll give you an example.
All right.
My mom was a 0 sandwich mom, no sandwiches. So that's not a good mom. It's not just sandwiches. It applies to many facets of life.
That's what's up. Come on.
Dr. Drew's mom was a shit sandwich mom, but she made a bad sandwich, but she didn't put a lot of effort into the sandwich. Then there are other people whose moms toast the bread.
Okay.
And, put the mayo on both pieces of bread.
Oh, okay.
Like real sandwich moms, which really just means they love you.
Yeah.
They spend time, they burn calories, they want you to be happy.
Okay.
What was your mom's sandwich? How was she rank as a sandwich mom?
My mom made incredible tacos.
Oh, okay.
Incredible enchiladas.
Really?
Pancakes on occasion on the weekends.
She made enchiladas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mom's enchiladas are fire.
I love enchilada. Underrated, right?
Yeah.
Enchilada. I'll tell you this. I think enchilada is the fish and chips of the Mexican menu.
Come on with it.
Meaning everyone loves fish and chips, but they don't order it very often. No one orders it, but it's always good and they love it. Enchiladas, always on that menu. No one orders enchiladas, and they're awesome. And I always order enchiladas. So I go out to Mexican food place, and I don't mess it up with chicken or beef. I don't put stuff in it. I get cheese enchilada, and mole sauce can be real good on an enchilada.
Better know what you're doing, though, when you tackle that mole sauce.
I went to a place in Texas. We went to a Mexican place. Yeah, we pulled in there. The guy said enchiladas, because, again, everyone gets tacos and burritos and everything, fajitas. I go, give me the enchiladas. Gives me the enchiladas. It's got American cheese in it. I go, what the hell is this? I go, that's Tex-Mex.
That's Tex-Mex, brother.
I go, American Velveeta and an enchilada. Your mom would not abide by that. So your mom wasn't a sandwich mom, but she was an enchilada mom?
Taco and enchilada mom. And my mom had the uncanny ability to look into our fridge when we said, my father and I, we have no food. And she said, watch this. And she just whip up dishes that she couldn't even repeat that tasted amazing.
Well, enchilada's a lot of love because it's effort. It takes some work.
Yeah.
You got to put it together. You got to assemble it. You got to bake it.
Yeah. Now, my mom could cook if she wanted to. She just, a lot of times she wasn't in the mood. But when she was in the mood, my mom could cook.
Did she go with the Mexican type cheese in the enchilada?
She would use, I know, the Lowry's the Lowry seasoning in the packet. She was big on Lowry's, and then she would generally use shredded combination cheese in the packet.
Nice. All right. So your mom making Mexican food?
Yeah, she made a lot of Mexican food.
Kevin Costner grew up in Compton but went to high school at Visalia in Ventura.
Gotcha.
Just for clarity.
Just for fun fact.
So your mom wasn't a sandwich mom, but she made enchiladas.
Yeah,
and that's good. That's good effort there.
Yeah.
So your mom's a loving mom.
And my dad made a lot of French toast.
Oh, really?
My dad was a French toast guy.
I prefer a pancake to a French toast.
I'm a French toast guy.
Well, how'd your dad do it?
The secret is Hawaiian bread.
Oh, well, that's cheating, man.
Come on, that's not cheating. That's creative.
It's a little bit of cheating.
That's creative.
That's good. I don't know.
A little cinnamon, a little vanilla extract.
If I was a kid, your dad sounds like he knows what he's doing. Although a dentist is a job I could never do. I could never be a dentist.
He's a math and sciences guy, though. That's just who he is, personality-wise.
So is your dad kind of nerdy?
What's funny is he's nerdy in his thought processing, but physically he was never nerdy. My dad was a big weightlifter.
Oh, really?
So my dad was a lot hunkier and sexier than I ever was.
Buff dentist.
Yeah.
Weird, but impressive. Impressive. Once in a while, you'll see some doctor or dentist who's shredded, and you go, oh, man, brains in, Bron. Like you're a Renaissance man.
Yeah, a little bit.
So are they still together?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So your parents been together for 55 years?
Yeah, some disgusting number that I've forgotten, but I still call them on February 19th when their anniversary rolls around.
Oh, really? So you're good. I mean, your family's good. You're good with them. A lot of showbiz kids, they resent, they're angry, money.
Well, I always try to, it sucks that the narrative gets kind of like, I don't know, hijacked by tabloids. But there's a lot of young people, man, a lot of people that grew up working in the business young, and the common denominator always was, did they come from, families that had values and that chose to stick together? Pretty much everybody that had a tougher road, they just didn't have a very strong family life, and I see that as the common denominator.
No, I agree, and the great Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family. Once he told me, he said, everyone does this thing about child actors and rehab and trouble and money and all the things you hear. He said, but think about just an average person. Like half the guys I went to high school with had substance abuse, got into trouble, bad marriages, divorce, And I'm like, I guess it's not child actors.
Exactly.
It's kind of one out of every three people I grew up with has some sort of issue, and they weren't on TV.
Hello, you're dropping gems.
And also, half of them don't even talk to their family or like their family. It wasn't because their mom forced them into acting camp when they were 7. It's because life, So it's not like the outside world is pristine when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Life be lifing, man.
So do you have brothers and sisters?
Nah, that's what makes me a bit unique, though. I'm an only child.
Mm-hmm.
I am an only child. But I share my food.
Your food share?
Yeah, my wife comes from a giant family, and she won't share her food. And then I've had to coax her into saying, hey, baby, we can order as much of this as we want. So,
does she eat, does she put her elbows out when she eats?
It gets aggressive.
So she's got lots of siblings.
Yeah, my wife is like freaking 4 siblings.
And is she from out here?
Nah, she's from Stockton.
No, it's not out here, but it's not. It's kind of strange that you're very California centric.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm so Los Angeles. Spike Lee can offend me at times.
So, you have all this success, all this notoriety. I can't imagine how surreal high school would have been in the middle of your success. And I don't know. Did you say I'm sick? I can't go in a lot?
Nah, that's my dream show. That's really my dream show that I've always wanted to make. I felt like it's such a unique point of view that most people didn't realize that, I was going to prom. I was sitting in class. I was taking tests. I was getting bullied. I was trying to play for my basketball team, not getting minutes. You know, and you didn't have these camera phones recording everything on camera. So even though it was still, you know, you went through your shock and awe periods. You know, they got past it because there wasn't anything to share about it other than just what you knew.
Was it like, I know you love basketball and you're on the team and you're trying to get minutes.
Yeah.
But your coach is in a kind of weird position. Like on one hand, it's kind of fun to play you. On the other hand, he's trying to win. He wants the best 5 guys out there.
But we sucked.
The team sucked?
Yeah, our team sucked. So I think it was just really you know, when I look back on it, I just think it was a thing where he kind of thought this kid has enough.
He doesn't need this.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the crowd cheering because he's already living that life.
Exactly.
Do you think you're better than some of the guys that were starting in front of you?
I was definitely better than certain guys. It's not even a question. I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just when I look back on it, there's no reason that I should not have played at all. But you know, I just think it was I don't even want to use the word jealousy. The proper context is, I think he just looked at me and was like, this kid has enough. Put it this way, I remember one time we were playing in a tournament, and sometimes I would miss the team bus because I was at work. I was at Warner Brothers filming. And so we were playing in a tournament in Glendale, but they let me off work just a little bit early enough so that I could make this particular game. I thought I was going to have to miss the game entirely, and I caught up to the team bus on the 210, beeping my horn.
Really?
And all the dudes came to the back, was like, yo, he's Jaleel, but I'm driving a Range Rover.
Right.
And I could tell when the coach came and looked at the back, out the back, you know, back window, it was almost like he wasn't happy to see me.
Right.
And that was the first moment that I kind of felt like, I don't know if he wants me on the team.
Yeah.
And it was a little awkward, but it was a very memorable time for me, even if I didn't play very much. I learned a lot about team dynamics. And if I had to do it all over again and still not play, I'd do it all over again because I think it's important for a guy to know what it's like to be on the bench mob.
Chime, let's talk about money headaches for a second. I've had them all. Missed payments, overdraft fees, wishing I could have saved a couple extra bucks. Chime gets it. Every dollar is a big deal. With Chime's direct deposit, you unlock fee-free perks that actually help. You get paid up to 2 days early. Super handy when that car repair comes up. Free overdraft coverage up to $200, so you're not stuck at the register looking foolish. We've all been there. Open a checking account, no monthly fees, zero maintenance fees. Seriously, no sneaky charges popping out of nowhere. I like seeing balance updates and transaction alerts in real time. It's helped me spend smarter. When I need support late at night, Chime's 24/7 customer service actually came through. I use Chime. You should use it as well. Right, Dawson?
Work on your financial goals through Chime today. Open an account in 2 minutes at chime.com/Adam. That's chime.com/Adam. Chime feels like progress.
I had a weird flashback recently. And so I was a football player. I was
What position?
I was pretty good, but I played linebacker and guard.
Oh, you were hitting people.
I was hitting everyone all the time. And so I was good enough to end up being like all Central Valley. I was a first team all Valley player.
That matters, baby. That's grade 1-8.
I agree. I'm glad to have that little clipping of that newspaper. But when I was in the 10th grade, I was on the B team and I wasn't starting. And I was I had a guy who was ahead of me who was a senior when I was in the 10th grade on the B team, which is weird, but he was a senior, so I just think they let him start. And I was busting my hump in practice and working real hard. And like I felt like I could contribute and I should get playing time, but I was sitting on the bench. And I had this weird flashback to us sitting in the gym before a game toward the end of the season, and Coach Smith was standing there, and he was kind of looking around, and he'd go, "You ready to play today? You ready to play today?" And he was like pointing to the starters. And then at some point, he pointed at me, and he goes like, "Carolla, you ready?" And everyone kind of looked at me and went, "Well, he's not doing anything, so why does he need to be ready?" And he goes, this guy's good enough to start at about 3 or 4 positions on this team, and he busts his tail. Just because he's not starting doesn't mean, I don't know, he knows how to play football, and he may get in there. And I was just kind of like, what? I didn't know he thought about any of this or knew any of this stuff.
You better land this, man. You better land this story. I love it.
I ended up getting in the game at some point, made a good tackle, and I remember doing the tackle, and everyone looked at me like, you just tackled somebody out on the field. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, they weren't used to seeing it. But the weird flashback I had was like him pointing at me in the bleachers and everyone kind of looking at me and him going, you could play a bunch of different positions. Just because you're not starting doesn't mean I don't know you can play and stuff like that. It's a weird end of season kind of thing he had. I never thought he was, I was surprised he knew my name kind of thing. And I just had that flashback. And the next year I started on varsity, and then I started both ways on varsity the next year, and that was all fine. But you have flashbacks to the quiet moments or the not playing or the sitting on the bench. Like a lot to be learned.
A tremendous amount. I mean, if you'll indulge me, I have a similar story with a different ending.
Yeah.
I remember the coach telling us at the beginning of a game we were about to play La Cañada. And he goes, he starts laying into us real good. Practice was trash this week. Mm-hmm. Anybody could get in the game. He's like, I'm shaking up the whole lineup. Like, whoa, like he's going to name a new starting lineup? He's like, anybody can get in the game this week. And so, that just kind of changed the whole spirit of the layup line.
Right.
And he didn't play anyone different. This bastard didn't play anyone. I mean, the rotation could not have been more the exact same, and we lost. So at the end of the game, it was a visiting game. Girls and stuff from the other team would recognize me sometime, and then on this rare occasion, there were like 4 or 5 girls that wanted to meet me right after the game.
Was this in La Cañada or in Pasadena?
This was in La Cañada.
Oh, because my kids went to that high school.
Yeah,
that's the reason. I've been to volleyball games and basketball games in that auditorium.
We were the visiting team.
Right.
So, when you're getting your ass kicked or you're about to lose and you're on the bench mob, I mean, there's nothing better than making eyes with some girls in the crowd and they want to get to know you after the game. This was the only time in the entire time I played on the team that he made it his personal business, my coach, to make sure that I got to the locker room protected from the crowd.
Oh, really?
It was he must have seen us at the end of the bench, communicating with these girls or whatnot. And, you know how that goes. When the team loses, the bench mob, if you didn't play, you don't feel responsible for that loss.
Right.
So we just wanted to get out of the locker room and go meet the girls.
Right.
He lectured us for a complete hour in the locker room.
So it
after
sounds
the
like
game.
he had a little personal beef.
Oh yeah. That's why I was like, this was so petty when I look back on it as an adult that it's just laughable. Like I can't even be bitter about it. I got to be like, this guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for practicing all week and not playing, which is tough.
Oh, it's tough on the brain.
In football, like you take, it's 105 degrees outside. It's miserable. We'd be doing 2-a-days right now, right? 3 miles from here on a dirt field in North Hollywood, back when they thought water was bad for you, and you'd be running wind sprints and stuff. And to go through the pain, like baseball. I played. I was pretty good. It was fun.
Could you hit a curve?
It was easy. I was okay. Tommy Lasorda told me I could have played professional baseball, but he would have had to throw me 100 curves a day, starting at 18. Which is an interesting thing that you said hit a curve, because he said I'd have to throw them to you or something. So I said I could play good enough. Yeah, I was pretty good, but baseball practice was kind of fun. Football practice was torture. And literally torture. And so to go through the torture and then sit on the bench for the game, that's called lose-lose. Because when I was starting both ways at the end, practice is torture, but you're starting.
Yeah.
So you're out there, and it's pretty good. Sitting on the bench after being tortured all week in and week out, that's the tough part. But I think mentally, it probably builds more character because you kind of go, if this kid sticks with it and doesn't quit and does all the sprints and all the jingle jangles and all the stuff, goes through all the pain only to sit on the bench for the whole game, then that kid's got character because they don't quit.
That's what it was about for me. I didn't want him to have the satisfaction of making me quit.
So you played all 3 years or 4 years?
I actually only played my senior year. So they changed the shooting schedule to allow for me to attend our home games, and specifically for my senior year. I never thought I was going to get a chance to play. And during the summer times, I would usually just go to basketball camps. I went to Arizona. I was friends with Lute and Bobby Olsen. May they rest in peace.
Lute Olsen, that's right.
I went to Duke basketball camp. Coach K and Mickey, they welcomed me out there. So my mom basically just turned my summers when I was a kid into just my basketball season, where I could just go to any camp I wanted to. I even went to Michael Jordan's camp in Elmhurst. That one wasn't more for 5-star kids, but it was still cool because anytime I did stuff like that, they'd always kind of give me a little bit of special privilege because I would draw a crowd even at the camp with the campers. So the other campers would go back to the dorm, and I'd get a chance to stay with the counselors and watch Mike play the counselors at night. And literally our counselors were Brent Barry and Grant Hill.
Really? So you'd watch Michael Jordan play those guys at night?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're talking about as a 16-year-old.
That's an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
But also the kind of pressure of being notable and people knowing who you are, if you suck or you really screw up, it kind of, I don't know, exaggerates it, puts a finer point on it, harder. I mean, I guess it's I'll put it to you this way. If you get a DUI as a person who works at the Home Depot or the post office or something, like a regular person, getting a DUI sucks, you're unhappy, and it can screw you up. But if you're a celebrity and you get a DUI, it's a much bigger deal because everyone knows about it. It's more embarrassing, so on and so forth, right? And so it's the same act. I mean, missing a layup is the same thing, except for if you're a celebrity, then people know it.
Yeah. No, it's I got really lucky though in that my parents weren't big drinkers. My parents, they thought they were doing something when they had Seagram's wine coolers in the fridge. And then my mom would shame me into not being around liquor and stuff. She would always kind of my mom she had great manipulative powers over me. And she'd be like, hey, if these kids drink liquor, at your apartment and they leave out of here, they can sue you. So she would scare me with stuff like that. And then I became really good friends with Penny Hardaway when I was about 17, 18 years old. And then ironically, Penny didn't drink or smoke. So it was almost kind of it was by divine order. I was protected to stay away from alcohol and smoke during that time period because the cops would hunt you. If you were a brother driving the kind of cars I was driving in high school and college, you were being hunted. And to roll down that window and smoke was billowing out or you'd been drinking, absolutely, you would have ended up in the press. But I was hanging out with all these, cool people who didn't drink. Penny did not touch anything. We played ball and we played video games and, we looked for girls.
Penny had the little puppet in the Reebok commercial, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that, well, I'm glad we're talking about drinking anyway, but I was using it as a metaphor, which is if you suck in basketball, everyone knows he sucked. Yeah. They know who you are. Yeah. So that had to feel pressure-filled.
I wasn't giving you a tangent. What I was saying is just interesting to me how you go through these periods of life where you were protected from something and you didn't realize you were protected from it because all my values at the time is, I'll never touch this stuff. So I had my first real sip of liquor. I went through all of college and never drank.
How were your parents, or did they have any thoughts about you driving an expensive car at a young age? It's your money, but I could also go, they kind of put a target on your back or save that money for blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, my car journey was dope. like, again, that's something I would love to see in a TV show, because my first car was actually just my dad's old car, which was Acura Legend sedan. So my first car was not fancy at all. Mm-hmm. And I remember I pulled into a valet, and this elderly woman in Beverly Hills got my autograph. And she said, "Is this your car?" 17 years old. And I was like, "Yeah." And she was just like, "You should really get something better. It's not your image."
Because she knew who you were.
Yeah. I just signed an autograph for her. So, you know, I just remember that moment. It's at 17 years old, I have a grown woman getting my autograph and telling me basically, "You drive a crap vehicle." And I remember my car broke down. My dad's old car broke down after a taping that I did on the lot. And I mean, I remember this so vividly.
What lot were you guys on?
We were on Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Warner Brothers right there.
That's close enough.
Yeah, right off a pass.
Right.
And I had crushed it this night. Like, I had crushed it. And it was like I was trying to get to City Walk with my friends. And, you know, that's what you did. You tried to finish the show by 9 o'clock so you can get to City Walk and go hang out and get recognized and find girls. Right? And my car broke down. And I remember my EP drove by me, and he was in his Lexus coupe. And he was like, "Jay, you okay? You need a ride anywhere?" And I was like, "I'm just waiting for AAA Dave." And he was like, "All right." He's like, "I feel bad for you, man. You did a great show tonight, but driving good is feeling good." And he rolls up his window and he drives off. And I'll never forget, he was like, "Driving good is feeling good." And boy, I pitched a bitch that night with my parents. I was like, "This is ridiculous. Like, you know, how come I can't get a car that, you know, makes some sense? You know, everybody else on the show drives a Mercedes or whatever, and I'm driving this Acura sedan," which, by the way, they were very smart to make me drive, because I would bottom out on that thing terribly. I didn't take good care of it, and I scraped it on every freaking curb I could find. But I remember the next day I went and bought a Range Rover. Like, the next day.
Were you able to just go, you're under 18, right, at that point, but it's your money. Are you able just to go, "I'm just going to go do this"?
It don't work that way in a black household, dog. Like, this whole, like, my money thing. Like, my mom was awesome because she put more money in my trust than legally was necessary. So, you know, 25% supposed to go to your trust. She put 33% in. But my parents never even told me how much money I was even earning until I was about 14, 15. So I did probably about 60, 70 episodes of that show just on the love of the game, knowing that I'm making money to go to college, but not fully understanding this is bigger than just college now at this point. So I didn't have this concept of I'm rich or anything. I just didn't. It was like my mom kept me in public school exposed to other people, but she also kept me in a bubble in terms of my spending and my expectations. So I remember if I ever needed money for anything, my mom would just give me $300. She was like, "Well, what do you need that for?" I said, "Man, I just want to go to a warehouse and buy some CDs." She was like, "All right," she gave me $300. And it wasn't until I got to college and I started using the ATM myself more that I realized, I'm like, "Oh, my mom always gives me $300 because that's the maximum you can get out at the ATM." So, you know what I'm saying? It was like I had this innocence that I look back on that was very contrived from my parents' point of view, but it was my reality.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like they did, and you kind of got the best you could get considering where you're at, what you went through, how visible you were in the town you lived in. They made it about as sane as they could make it.
Oh, yeah.
And about as humble and sort of, I guess, regular. They made it about as regular as they could make it for you.
Yeah. I had the other thing about my childhood is, like, there's a Forrest Gump kind of aspect to my childhood also. I know you're going to be like, where's he going with this? But like graduation day, I remember having a graduation meal at the top of the Bonaventure Hotel. And I'm arguing with the bartender, can he please turn on the Knicks versus Houston NBA Finals? And he's like, I can't, man. He's like, I know who you are, but everybody wants to watch this situation that's going on the news. and it was OJ's Bronco chase.
Oh, really?
Going right by the 110 freeway, and so everybody's like faces are plastered in the window, watching OJ go by, and I'm literally arguing with Barton. I'm like, man, don't nobody care about this Bronco. The game is on, man.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the game. They broke away from the game, I think, to talk about it.
Yeah, like they stopped the game. They stopped the coverage of the game.
The Bonaventure.
So eventually he was like, I told you, like they stopped the game, so it's not even on anymore.
The Bonaventure, that weird talk to the bartender about the TV thing is the weirdest. I've had a million of those where it's like they got women's golf out in the middle of Saturday and there's college football, and I go, could you switch it over to you? And they go, I'm not allowed. I don't know what the thing with the bartender. You sit around and you serve people booze all day. What do you mean you're not allowed to handle a TV remote? And no one wants to watch ladies golf. But the Bonaventure Hotel is where my senior prom was.
Hey.
And it's a famous it was modern in 1976. But I swear to God, you can look it up. The movie Logan's Run. I think when they were looking for a modern thing, building whatever, they used the Bonaventure Hotel because it was state of the art and modern circa 1975. Yeah. Now it's an old hotel.
This was a fancy post-graduation meal that was going on.
So you went straight away to college? You went to UCLA after that?
Went to UCLA right after that. But again, I went to UCLA while I was still on the show. So that was even kind of surreal too, because that's when you start to lose a little bit of your cool. Because it was cool to be this character, and when you were in middle school in particular, probably about the 9th grade was about the coolest time to be the character. But then by the time you get to college, people are aging out. And, the rap battle East and West is huge. And everything hard is huge. And being,
This is 95.
Yeah, this is 95, right? So it was like, I'll never forget they played the movie Friday on campus at Kirkhoff at UCLA. Mm-hmm. And it was a free movie. And back then, that was a big deal because none of the kids had any money, and that's where I wanted to feel normal. So I went to the folding chairs free screening of Friday at Kirkhoff because all the girls were there that night. And I remember watching that movie and the impact that it had on me because I was like, damn, I can be this funny, but within the context of TGIF, I'm not allowed to be funny like this. We were cracking jokes off the stage, me, Kelly and Darius, Lauren, Eddie, et cetera. That's how other people know them. But, that were age appropriate, but we couldn't cross certain lines.
Right.
And I knew right there in that moment, I was like, this is about to be tough on us because we're not allowed to follow our instincts right now because we're part of a brand that is just very family oriented.
Mm-hmm. And so, what'd you major in college?
I went to film school.
Oh, okay. So it was always going to be that.
Yeah.
But then later, I'm guessing now you have to sort of undo Urkel or something, sort of try to be seen as not this. I mean, it's a pretty old story in Hollywood.
The 20s were weird. But I had a good time. I had some good friends, and I did. The best thing I did in my 20s was I accidentally started traveling in Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had a football player friend of mine that called me one day and was like, hey, man, you need to come out here. I'm in Iceland right now. And I'm like, what? He's like, yo, it's popping out here. And so I remember I don't know what my dad was going through or what. I was working on a script for Imagine Entertainment of all places, and as a writer, because I was really, all I wanted to do was write, man. That's all I wanted to do. And I had gotten a little gig with Imagine Entertainment, but it didn't really have kind of a hard deadline. And I was like, Dad, Fred just asked me to go to Reykjavik. And my dad was like, go. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I was always that kid, I got my homework done, and it was like, go. And I was like, all right. And I booked a flight, and 2 days later, I'm landing in Reykjavik. My buddy picks me up with a blonde and a Doberman in the back seat of an SUV. And the adventure started there. It was Reykjavik. It was Greece. It was Spain. It was...
How long were you there for?
London. I probably stayed out there for probably about couple weeks, we started buying clothes on the road, and then after that, it became an annual summer thing. Like as soon as he was done with. My boy was done with the football season. He's like, all right, where am I meeting you? And
he's playing EuroLeague?
And then it was, what'd you say?
He's playing European League?
No, he's playing NFL.
Oh, he just went.
Yeah, he was playing NFL, but as soon as the season was over, he was out.
Fred Dreyer from the Los Angeles Rams. I'm guessing it wasn't that. There's also.
I'm going to say his name, man. Oh,
Freddie Hammer.
Freddie Mitchell. Freddie Mitchell. I just want to thank my hands, Freddie Mitchell, who played for the Eagles, man. He actually went to the I know your producers knows it. He actually went to UCLA. So
that's how you know.
That's where I got to know. That's where it's like once I got to UCLA, that's where my life kind of starts to become a little minor version of Entourage.
And so minor version of Entourage in that you seem to like women.
I mean, who didn't?
No, I agree. And
Fred went to the Playboy Mansion every day. I'd never been before.
The problem when you're 22 is you really like women, but I
like the wrong ones.
I was poor and I drove a pickup truck, and it just wasn't happening. For me, I didn't have Reykjavik money, so I didn't know Fred, and I didn't have any connections. You know what I mean? So. I think it's kind of like I would tell people all the time when they go like celebrities who cheat or something like that.
Right.
Guys, the guy's a dog. He's stepping out. I said,
I wasn't a dog,
listen.
I wasn't that.
I know, but I said, look, when I used to be on MTV, I've had the experience of walking into like a bar in New York, sitting down and looking up, and my show's on all the TV sets while I'm sitting at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Because they put it on MTV at night. And then a couple of good-looking women came up, started talking to me, and then asked me if I want to go back to the hotel room and hang out with them. Now, what I'm saying is
now the proper way to say that, Adam, is would you like to party?
Party with them and watch them party. Well, my point is before you go judging. The guys a long haul trucker would do that as well. They just don't have the women coming up to them asking them if they want to go back and party with them. That's the thing. And it's one thing, here's what I would say. It's one thing to find a wallet on the ground at the subway and pick it up and turn it in. But it's another thing to find cash on the ground. Most of us won't return cash,
that's
and I'm not going to. I'm not going to judge you for not returning cash.
You a fool with two O's.
Well, Jaleel, I know you got a heart out here, so we'll go out on a nice laugh.
If you just want to get rid of me, get rid of me. I got no heart out talking like this.
I said 12:30 is what your people said.
Well, my people have to protect me, man. They don't know if I'm gonna start having a good time.
Let's talk about Purple Urkel, though.
Oh, Purple Urkel. Oh, that's right. The show is called Flipside, by the way. Second season, September 8th, Game Show Network, and also various local stations and the Roku channel. Well, so you're local, so you should come by periodically, plug, hang out, tell stories.
I would love that, man. I had no idea what a SoCal dude you are.
I'm from here.
Since your man mentioned that, you know what? I actually brought him a little treat. I brought him a little Purple Urkel for anybody who wanted it.
Oh, Dawson's a big Urkel fan.
Our filters are very unique. We use a piece of rotini pasta.
Ooh!
Oh,
my Italian mother will love that.
Yes.
I'm taking this home.
So we got the noodle joint for you, and I'm telling you, dog, I don't sell weed. I sell memories. So you gonna remember everything about this and who you smoked it with.
That's only something a stoner will
Dawson,
totally go. Yeah, I get it, dude.
I was gonna give this to you, Dawson, but
no, you take it, boss. You take it.
Jaleel White.
If I gotta bring some more for you, I will. Since I got the carte blanche to come back.
Anytime. Jaleel White, everybody. We'll do the news right after this. Huel, man. Huel. All right. We all know mornings can be a little chaotic sometimes, a little hectic. You're juggling the dog and emails and where's the keys, skip breakfast, grab some coffee, go flying out of the house. That's what I used to do. And then I found Huel Black Edition. Seriously, grabbing this on the way out saves a whole morning. It really does, and a ton of time. Fall is here, so school, work, everything. It's all ramping up. You want a meal, not a candy bar and a latte, which is, let's face it, what a lot of people are serving up and calling it breakfast. Huel, Huel, gets it. Their Black Edition powder is a complete meal, so you feel full, focused, and ready for the day. And get this, they just dropped the Huel Daily Greens ready to drink. First of its kind. It's your greens, but sparkling in a can. No powders, no nonsense. Just pop one and go. Made by real dietitians. It's Huel, right, Dawson?
Try Huel with 15% off for new customers today by using our code ADAM15 at Huel.com/Adam15. Fuel your performance with Huel today.
Homes.com, some might say Homes.com, is the best home shopping site. And maybe Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory. Or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. So if you're looking, Homes.com, that's the site you should be on. I go there just to see what's going on in the neighborhood. Check out the comps. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam, John from Colorado. Just wanted to say thanks for all the laughs you and the crew have given me during my brutal divorce over the last year. It really is an elixir and takes your mind off things, which is good. And also, get your ass back out to Denver Comedy Works. It's been almost 2 years, man. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, I will. And thanks. I love it when people say they were going through a tough time and I distracted them just a little bit. Mayhem's got some news. He's out here. I had a thing. I was sitting around last night. I was watching that movie Varsity Blues.
Classic.
Yeah, and I was looking and I thought, I was thinking about a couple guys I went to high school with who died in a car crash right after they graduated. Football guys.
I recall.
On a football team. And I thought, I wonder if those guys are in the, a memorial something, North Hollywood High or something. So I just put their names in and said like North Hollywood and see if there's some story about it. They had some story in the newspaper or something. And then it came up a thing. It said notable North Hollywood High people over the years. North Hollywood High is 90 years old or something. And it had lots of, like, Marilyn Monroe went to North Hollywood High. So then I was looking at it, and it had a bunch of famous people, and then other people that were not as famous, but you kind of recognize them, and then some names you didn't recognize. No Adam Carolla, by the way. I know.
Got deleted from the UFC Hall of Fame.
I know. And then I saw Michael Hutchins, and I was like, what?
INXS?
From INXS. And I'm like,
no.
That guy's from Australia.
That's New Zealand.
Or New Zealand, or wherever. Yeah. Why is he in my high school, and I'm not in my high school? And then it said something like,
you're my kind.
Yeah, he went there for a year or something when his dad came here to work from Australia or something. He went there for a short, 3 years, all Central Valley first team. No mention of the Ace Man. Class clown? Come on now. Nothing.
The liberal woke student council won't let you on.
I was too lazy to check every list. It was just a list I went to, but it was, I don't know, if you put in notable North Hollywood High, Michael Hutchins beat me out, fine, But also, there's a bunch of other names I didn't know.
I saw Michael Tilson Thomas up there. I know him. He was the conductor of the San Francisco Symphony.
Well, there you go. Okay, includes that.
Okay.
Terry Garr, Brian Austin Green. All right. Now, Allison Hannigan.
Mayim Bialik, well, I mean,
musicians
you
like
just got beat out by Blossom.
Eden Everly. I don't know who Eden Everly is, but Michael Tilson. Again, other figure school. Oh, okay. Get to me. Actress Marion Bialik. All right. Comedian Adam Carolla and director Frank Darabont. And then what's the Michael Hutchins list? All right, so I got honorable mention down there, but I just feel like first things first. I was a full-time student. You know, there's no on-set tutoring. I was there playing football, playing baseball, class clowning it every day, putting the hours in, and I got Brian Austin Green.
Just think of the pranks.
5 slots ahead of me.
Think of the pranks. You know, just think of the days that Adam Carolla roamed the halls of North Hollywood High, a menace to society.
I had the greatest moment. I thought about one of my greatest moments, which was, it doesn't sound like anything, but it was very impactful for me. And I was thinking about it the other day. There's somebody way down the hall, and everyone's lockers were in the hall, right? And it was a female student, like sort of friend of mine, I sort of knew, and it was crowded in the hall. And she was probably about 40, 50 feet down the hall, in between class. Everyone's walking up and down, and she had her locker open, and I had an apple that was about done with, and I just had the core pretty much. And I saw her like down, and I saw her locker door was open. I could see the inside of it. And because I was just a douche, I took the apple, and apples, to me, apple cores, back then, you had to throw everything you were done with. You couldn't take it and put it in the trash can. It was basically tantamount to peeing outdoors. Like if you ever pee when you're camping, you stand there and you're pissing, and then you're like, yeah, look at that ant. All right, well, that's something. You know, or there's a trail, or there's some, I'm going to see if I can roll that twig down this hill. Like, I'm not just going to pee. I'm going to do something with this pee. And so I had this apple core, and the girl's locker was open, and she was like talking to someone, and I thought, it's going to be funny. I'm just going to chuck this apple, and I'm just going to splat it on the inside of her locker door. And so I threw it a pretty good distance. I was on the baseball team. It was like, 40, 50 feet away. And she never looked up. She just turned, and right as the apple got to the door, she just slammed the locker door and walked away. And I realized there's now an apple core inside of her locker that she could never account for. She's just going to open her locker next time, and a core's going to fall out, and she's going to think she has a brain tumor because she's going to think she ate the apple and put the core in there or something. She'll have no reasonable explanation for it. She literally, as the apple got to the door mid-flight, she slammed the door, and so she couldn't hear it. And she entombed it in there, and
when you came back, there's ants everywhere. You had to piss everywhere.
I did have fruit flies in my locker because I had some old fruit apples in there. But I just remember I remember thinking, I can't tell her about this.
Whoa, okay.
And then I remember thinking, I love the timing of this. And then I remember thinking, it really was nothing. It was a nothing burger, but it stuck with me all these years later. I was very happy.
But the follow-up was the key, I think. Carolla, you missed out on a chance to walk up and see her realize she had an aneurysm sometime during third period English.
Yes. You went around and told Ray and Snake and everybody, right?
Yeah, I told everyone. I had to tell everyone. By the way, we didn't have, that was our only entertainment.
Was it Ray or Snake that would shit in her locker?
Well, it was Ray, but it was unclear whether it was Ray shit or Chris's shit that hit me in the ear.
I don't get into that.
I'll tell you who delivered it. Ray delivered it, but I don't know. You can't really dust for shit. In that situation, big adrenaline dump. All I needed was to get home. That's all I've never been over. I've never hopped the fence that fast. I hit that fence full stride and was over it, and it didn't slow me down. I just landed on the other side in full stride again. There was a security guard there, too. He's just doing a, hey, whoa. And I was just like, nope, going right by it. Michael Hutchins lived in North Hollywood for a brief period during teenage years and went to North Hollywood High School. That was a weird one that never came up. Also, when I looked up Michael Hutchins, I remember when you guys of a certain age, Dawson, when he killed himself, you go, sad, but, he had a pretty good run. 37.
Oh.
Not in his 40s, in his 30s.
Quick out.
We thought of him as a little bit older. Not really.
Not anymore.
In his 30s.
Well, he had a blast.
Yeah, he had a good time. They're one of my least favorite bands.
I'm just tripping on how they spell that name. That does not make any sense.
They made a show where they're trying to replace him, like making the band or something like that. Do you remember? It was a TV show.
How can you replace that guy, though? All right, what happened?
I can't remember. All right, so also I got a clip from recent when they had RFK. Oh, God, poor RFK Jr. had to get up and have Liz Warren question him. And
did she give him a talking to?
Yeah, he can't get a word in edgewise. But it's a perfect chick think argument, which is he does not recommend the booster vaccine for healthy people under 65 because it's unnecessary, and it was always unnecessary. So my son getting vaccinated when he was 14 as a healthy and thin male was always unnecessary, and I wish he hadn't gotten vaccinated. I didn't take him to get vaccinated. His mom took him to get vaccinated, and I didn't really get a vote.
What was her reason?
Everyone had to get vaccinated. They wouldn't let you back in school. They wouldn't let you on a fucking eat at a restaurant. It was an old big lie.
I brought it up.
Big lie and a big push to get people. I don't want my kids or anyone to get any vaccinations they don't need.
All right.
If they need a vaccination, then they should get it. But there's potential downside or danger, even if it's small statistically.
Yeah.
But if it's zero, the danger, then they don't need it. So it was always an easy equation for me. COVID doesn't pose a danger to young people. So, no, don't get vaccinated because how could it hurt? I don't know.
Yeah, but could.
But it could.
Oh, yeah.
So RFK is basically going, I'm not going to recommend a vaccination for people who don't need a vaccination, especially now, by the way. Who the fuck are the people who are getting booster shots in the end of 2025, but not Liz? And all these fucking bitches and all these assholes have to retroactively try to make themselves right about something they're wrong about that happened and they lied about, so they have to get in these big arguments. So she wants to know what's going on with him recommending this. Now, he's saying, basically what he's saying is I'm not going to stop anybody from getting a booster vaccine. I will not recommend it if you don't need it, which seems, logical to me. But she's not having anything of it. And you notice whenever he tries to answer her, she'll just talk over him. Fucking waste of time. Here we go, Pocahontas.
Confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
That is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I know I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies.
I love that.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away.
It's such a waste of time.
Senator,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
You want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
Is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away.
Obviously-
Everybody can get access to them.
No.
Yeah, man.
It's like, you want me to recommend a vaccine that is not good for people and unnecessary? Is that what you want? Now, she's saying you took it away.
Man, he hit it with the upper right there with the
That's
damn
right.
825. Ooh, wee.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Did you just say upper?
I think she may have
Man,
heard
kick it,
uppercut.
bud. No.
The point is, I mean, I'll throw an upper gun every once in a while. Now, here's the thing. First off, what is she arguing for? Literally, for booster vaccinations for people who don't need booster vaccinations.
You already know, Ace. He just said it. You know what I mean? Got to cash them checks somehow.
That's such cheating. God, it's crazy. And he never took them away. And also, this world, this imaginary world where no one has access to things, you know, like Hobby Lobby is not paying for birth control, so he's denying access. Who can't vote? Who can't get an ID? Who can't get a booster shot? Like, who are these people?
Who are these people who are still pushing something that what we were told it was going to work and then it didn't work? But no, we all still have. I don't get it.
They're retroactively trying to make themselves right. Yes, they're science deniers.
And you don't need to be working at Hobby Lobby and whoring around.
Whoring around at the lobby. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. Be here all weekend, man. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I love these guys. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. Always use O'Reilly. Always have used O'Reilly. Used to use the one off of Laurel Canyon in North Hollywood back when I was living in the valley. Now I moved up to the one up in La Cañada, up off a foothill. Whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, they are friendly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today, or you can visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
This September, CBS hits are streaming free on Pluto TV.
I'm coming in.
For this month only, stream full episodes of Matlock,
I'm a lawyer, like the old TV show.
Fire Country, Elsbeth,
I do love a mystery.
NCIS Origins, Watson, and Ghosts.
What the hell?
This is the most amazing sight I've never seen.
All for free. The CBS shows you love this month only on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
All right, what do you got? You got some
I
news?
got some crazy news about Drake. He's addressing his plastic surgery rumors. Specifically, he didn't get a BBL.
What is that?
It's a Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
Now, Kendrick Lamar made it famous of BBL Drake. Really got him good with that. And, you know, now he's with Bobby Altoff, who has a career somehow.
Who is Bobby Altoff?
Exactly. But check her out.
People think you got a procedure done.
Really?
You know?
Procedure?
Yeah, an ab one.
Really?
Yeah, did you do that?
No.
Do an op
Is that a thing?
I'm sure it is.
Why do you know that?
Because people do it all the time?
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
You've never done that?
No.
Okay.
People also say that I got a BBL, right? They call me BBL Drizzy, so.
Oh, that's true. Did
I
you?
don't know if my wagon looked crazy when I walked in here, but.
His
Did
wagon.
it?
That's his.
You got a BBL and you
Talking
got
about
your
his fart
abs
tank?
sculpted.
Did you? Do I have a fatty?
I didn't look at your body when you walked in here.
Do you want me to 360?
I don't.
So then, like, if it didn't stand out to you.
No, I mean personally, I've never
I
looked at
think
you
that
and
pic
thought,
just like, I think it was just like, I came from the gym. I was sweaty in that pic. Maybe
Just a good day.
I went on Facetune and like put like details up, you know, and you can like make it.
Don't even admit to that much.
Oh,
then
sorry.
you
Just being
face-tuned
honest.
it.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I like heightened the like saturation or something on it.
Okay.
I think I like hit it too hard. I hit it too hard.
Yeah.
They don't look like that. You saw them.
By the
Don't
way,
make that weird.
Yeah.
You know that SNL skit, The Californians?
Yeah.
That's who she is.
Yeah.
She's like, you had Ob work? You ever hear that song by Steve Miller called Abacadabra?
I was just saying in here, it seems that Bobby girl is becoming a parody of herself.
You know the Swedish band Abba?
Take the 101 to the 405, down to the 5, take the Connect way.
Did you see the Liberace film, The Candelabra?
The candelabra. You know what I like for breakfast? Abacaba toast.
Gonna take tonight. I'm gonna take some Viagra.
Listen to her at the beginning go, do you have your work?
Yeah.
Is she Canadian or something? What is she?
She's an industry plant.
Oh, okay.
People think you got a procedure done.
Really?
You know?
Procedure?
Yeah, an ab one.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no chemistry here. She's like 12 years too old for Drake.
Who is she?
I think she got major fame. She's just a social media person. She got major fame for interviewing that one actress or the one musician that she said was a musician, but the lady said, I'm not a magician.
Oh.
So
but this is a throwback to how she entered because her and Drake did a famous interview just like this. And I will say her deadpan comedy is not to my liking.
It's getting old.
Is Drake got too much of the Roomba vacuum robot in his stuff is robot. I don't like the auto-tuny
Listen, he got obliterated by the other kid, Kendrick Lamar, and now he's hilarious. So it's another he's on the radio. He's milquetoast.
You know my favorite artist is Obstruct. Okay. I have to go talk to my obstetrician. All right. So that's that. So he may have. It's a picture of him standing with his shirt off.
Yeah, they say he got ab surgery. You know what I mean? Some kind of microscoping or something like that.
There is a thing. There's a thing, but I don't. I mean, what is all right? Well, what is working out? Like we're not. I mean, I'm not asking you, but here's what I'm saying. Here's what we're getting at. Here's what we're getting at. Here's what we're getting at, because you have to kind of get to the crux.
Oh, I see.
Of things. You have to get to the crux of things. You know what I mean? And working out. Okay, I look better than you do with my shirt off. But what are we talking about? Like, what are we really striving for or talking about as human beings in general? And let's. I've never really distilled this down, but let's distill it down. I'm going to make it easy.
Aesthetics, you're saying?
No. We argue a lot, like, so what happens? So some chick loses a few pounds and every bitch is like, she's on Ozempic. She's on Ozempic. And then I'm always like, how do you know she's on Ozempic? Maybe she just, cut the carbs back, hit the gym a little bit. Oh, no, she's on Ozempic. And it's like, well, look,
could be.
She's a 34-year-old woman. She dropped 20 pounds. Maybe she's just working out. Maybe she's just getting up in the morning. Maybe she got a trainer. Oh, no, she's doing the Ozempic. Okay, so there's that, right? And then I'm leading to something powerful from a sociological, psychodynamic standpoint.
Oh, very well.
And then there's like, look at that rich guy over there. Oh, man. Yeah, born on third base, thought he hit a triple. It's daddy's money. Somebody said, I get with me. It's like they'll go like, well, if you never met Kimmel, then like I met Kimmel 35 years ago. He accounted for the first 4 years, and then after that, I had to work. You know what I mean? If you never met, so then you think to yourself like Ozempic, you met Kimmel, or your daddy, nepo baby, and then daddy's money, family money. Then you get into. That's those abs. That's your surgery. We did that with the surgery. Okay, so what are we saying here? What are we saying? Well, here's what we're saying. In order to get those abs or that money, the conceit would have to be that guy works harder than you. You like eating Taco Bell. He likes Taco Bell too, but he doesn't do it because he's got more discipline than you. And that guy over there in his fancy car with his money, he works weekends. And while you were out partying, he was home studying. And while you slept in, he got up at 6 a.m. and hit the gym. So that fucker's out working you. And he has more discipline than you. And you don't like the way that feels. So we're going to chalk his abs up to Ozempic, and we're going to chalk his car up to daddy's money.
Yep.
And then I can feel better about not being disciplined enough to be successful in this society.
True.
The people that are successful in this society are disciplined. It's not daddy's money. It's not even IQ. It's not your looks, not your hairline. It's not your height. It's your discipline. The disciplined people, look, anyone can have fucking abs. You do not need a plastic surgeon. Now, I am not disciplined enough, and also, although if you find that old boxing picture, man, I don't know. I mean, those are some abs there.
Old medicine ball Carolla.
But the point is I will, fuck it, I'll do comedy. Like, I don't have to look good with my shirt off.
But you're speaking right to my ears because I got a couple kids. Man, two guys, both of them had similar physiology where they're both very strong fighters. One of these guys worked his ass off, has 2 fights under his belt in the past month. The other guy want to kick back, smoke weed. Hey, he's sent back to Jacksonville. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Discipline. Well, look at those abs.
You are a buff guy, Carolla, in that picture for sure. But why does it look like it was in the 50s?
The guy took the picture just had black and white.
He's a very artful photographer. Jesus Christ, you look like Sammy.
All right, let's get off there. But the whole point is this. We are in such a struggle not to... The fucking lazy are inheriting the earth, right? And the politicians have decided that the lazy are their constituency, and that's why they give the speeches. Like, you think they're better than you? They need to pay their fair share of tax. Bitch, they pay all the taxes. All the rich people pay all the taxes. You're talking to people who don't pay taxes, and you're trying to convince them to be angry at rich people, essentially, who pay all the taxes. And they get it. There are many more lazy people than there are 6 a.m. gym rats.
And they're all in the comments section.
Right. And so somebody goes, they think they're better than you. They are, because they're more disciplined than you. Yes. Here's the deal. Universally, nobody wants to get up at 5 and go to the gym. And there are a handful of weirdos out there. But nobody wants to get up at 5 and go to the gym. And nobody wants to eat jicama and blanched chicken breast without the skin for dinner. We want fucking nachos.
Listen, man, I don't know what you're saying because there's a lot of guys that want to wake up at 5 and do the gym. There are a lot of guys who want to put in the suffering for glory.
Well, for glory, but I'm saying...
That's what I'm saying. No, you become... If you get it where you want to go do that, it becomes a psycho party.
When I say a lot, I mean way less than 1%, though. That's what I'm saying. Your average American wants to fucking eat whatever they fucking want and look like they went to the gym. But they don't, because they don't have the discipline. Look, there's tons of comedians who are super funny, but they don't want to fucking write, and they don't want to memorize, and they don't want to work out. It's the same, the UFC thing. It's like they don't want to put the hours in, so they're not going to get rewarded. But my point is this. We have a cottage industry about trying to figure out who's doing the sit-ups and who's doing the Ozempic and who's getting the plastic surgery and whose money is daddy's money and whose money is your money, because the lazy and the weak are intimidated by discipline. They fucking hate it. That's why they hate competition. My mom was one of those hippies, like, why do we have to keep score? Why? Of course you don't want to keep score, bitch, because you'd lose every single game. The people that are working hard and kicking ass want to keep score. The hard work, the students that are studying on the weekends want them to have grades and GPAs. The lazy ones don't want that. That's how it fucking works. But it turns out there's more lazy people than there are 6 a.m. gym rats or people studying on weekends or guys going out and working on their material instead of going out to Taco Bell and having some drink.
Well, you're going to freaking love this next story, though.
All right.
All right. Gen Z faces some workplace challenges as 73% admit to parental help in job assignments. what's happening right now is that a lot of young people getting jobs need their parents to come in and negotiate pay raises or yes, scheduling this type of thing. Yeah, it's a strange thing. I think COVID broke everybody's brain, and the young people are stunted a bit, and there's a weird hand holding going on.
We could not wait to be adults when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And look, it's a real easy equation. In our modern society, the thing that makes you an adult, and it's not a bar mitzvah, is a driver's license. Driver's license is the difference between adulthood and childhood, because the day you can fucking get in that car and take off to the reservoir or go to wherever, the day you get that driver's license, that's the day you're an adult. And we had people... First off, historically, there are people like, I lived on a farm. I drove my dad's truck when I was 13. There's like a lot of that. Then it turned into, got my learner's permit at 15 and a half, took driver's ed first year, 10th grade, took driver's training the second semester. So when I got out of the 10th grade, I went right to the DMV. I grew up with guys on their 16th birthday were celebrating at the DMV. Right. Okay. That's how everyone I grew up with. Oh, no mas anymore. You talk to 19-year-old dudes. They're like, Okay. Now, we could be talking about a driver's license, but really what we're talking about is entry into adulthood.
It's like a tradition.
And you going at 18, 19, 20, I don't have my license, I don't really care, is you saying, I don't want to be an adult.
Yeah.
We wanted to be adults badly. So they've prolonged this adolescence. And now, the more time you spent in the nest with mama feeding you, well, that's the more hand-holding you're going to need when you're 25. I mean, when I was trying to think, but I mean, by the time I was like 19 or 20, I was just like dudes, apartments, trucks, weed, beer park, fucking fighting
trying to
out,
escape,
swinging a hammer, out buying tools, I was just living an adult life, and I never looked back. I mean, I never went back home or did anything. That was just it. Yeah. That's a new thing.
Hiring managers have shared with resume.org stories of job applicants laying in bed during virtual interviews, doing the interview in a car, even chewing tobacco and spitting in a cup mid-interview.
That guy would hire. I like a guy dips during an interview.
Just spittoon.
Spittoon. There used to be spittoon humor in cartoons.
Yeah.
Guy'd go, ding, 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 ding. Like, I don't know who invented spittoon humor, but it was a pretty big part of my childhood.
I'm pretty sure some cowboy said some cold-ass line and ding, and that was where it was born.
I get it.
And Mel Brooks was was it Mel Brooks that was alive in that era? Somebody was old.
It's not a round bell. And by the way, you could be at a bar having a couple drinks and hear that ding and like pop up and think you're going into the fourth round, right?
What round is it?
What round is it, Coach? All right, what else?
Malcolm Gladwell says he's ashamed of being cowed into supporting trans athletes in women's sports. And I remember this clip of him in there, kind of the way it... Here, let's run this.
We'll play it.
If we did a replay of that exact panel at the Sloan Conference this coming March, it runs in exactly the opposite direction. And it would be, I suspect, near unanimity in the room that trans athletes have no place in the female category. I don't think there's any question. I just think it was a strange, the reason I'm ashamed of my performance at that panel, because I share your position 100%, and I was cowed. The idea of saying anything on this issue, I was I believe in retrospect, in a dishonest way. I was objective in a dishonest way.
No, I thought we were going to play the clip of this actual incident where he had got cowed. I remember he's one of my favorite authors, so I was paying close attention.
I like him too.
And when he got kind of bullied in that kind of queer way. You know what I mean? Like they kind of bullied him into being like, oh yeah, okay.
All right.
So he's now reversing his position, realizing that he kind of got bullied into that, saying, yeah, it's fine for a female boxer to take on a used to be man.
Well, part of, I'm glad you brought it up because it speaks to a bigger issue, which is the trans thing is kind of a novelty in the sense that it doesn't really affect any of us practically. I don't have a trans kid. I don't compete against males who used to be females.
Yeah, I have no problem with the trans community. I think they're fine to exist. They should do their thing.
It does not. So it does not exist practically in terms of impactfulness. But what it does do is it's an interesting thought experiment. In a world where some people believe in Bigfoot and some people believe in a Loch Ness monster and some people believe in aliens.
Flat Earth.
And some people think Elvis is still alive.
No moon landing.
The craziest of all beliefs.
Jews did 9/11.
Right. The craziest of all beliefs is that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. That's the craziest. And we figured out a way to make people go along with that, which is essentially what happened and then that all spilled into COVID, and that all spilled into stolen election or Hunter Biden's laptop. It just spilled in January 6th. It just spilled in this thing where essentially here's where we're at. You sit at a table with 6 people, and they're all sitting around going, Elvis is still alive, right? And then you're like, oh, he is? And then you go, and then they go, yeah, I saw grainy footage of him down at the Piggly Wiggly, and he's around. He's put a little weight on. He's in his 80s now. And then there's and then at some point the table looks at you, and they go, Adam, you think Elvis is still alive, don't you? Well, what I've learned, sadly, is that 96% of Americans go, oh, yeah, I do. 100% of women almost, and like 89% of guys just go, yeah, Elvis is alive. Yeah, because I don't want to get yelled at by the table.
Well, I mean, for me, am I trying to bang somebody or everybody at this table?
Well, there's that element of it, too. But we are able to get people to go along with shit because they're scared of being ostracized. There's no way everyone had the thoughts they had about COVID. There's no way. They didn't wear their mask right. Half the people I knew had the fucking mask around their chin or their nutsack.
I had man like a pirate.
Yeah, they didn't care. So there's no way they cared that much, but you got them to care because you scared them because they're weak and you're going to ostracize them. And like I said, I remember going to brunch years ago in Hawaii. I had a whole table turn on me. The whole table at brunch turned on me about Mexicans and leaf blowers. And I just kept, I remember, so it was 2 things I remember. I remember, A, this is uncomfortable. And then B, I was like, there were dumb chicks at the table that were all of a sudden experts on leaf blowers and Mexicans. And I was like, what the fuck do you bitches know about Mexicans and leaf blowers? You never even brought it up. You don't know anything. By the way, the same way they became experts in hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. And the same way they all became physicians in like a 2-week period, right? So I realized at that point, people will pile on. They will happily turn all their weird ire toward the one guy at the table who's saying something unpopular. And most people at that island resort would cave and not do the angle I did on Mexicans and leaf blowers. But I didn't. And it's not because I have anything other than this is what the truth is. So I don't know. Would it make you happy if I pretended to be dumb?
What did you say? You were anti-leaf blower. I know that much. And why was everybody pointing at you with their forks?
I have the burden of information, Mayhem. It's a burden. It's a burden.
I'm aware.
Knowing things. It's a burden with dumb people that are headstrong. I had read an article and I'd used my crystal brain, and I said, listen, leaf blowers have been outlawed in Los Angeles since 1999. They're outlawed, but they continue to be used ubiquitously every day, all day, every day, but they're outlawed. Why is it not being enforced? And the answer is the only people who use them are poor, brown, Mexican dudes. And the city council doesn't like the optics of coming down on poor, brown people. That's their constituency. So they don't enforce the law. By the way, what do you think all the street vendors are? Poor brown people. Why doesn't the LA City Council crack down on them? They don't. That's their constituency. They never stop talking about it. Do you think Mayor Bass is going to come down on poor brown people? All she does, she wants to fight ICE. She's literally telling people to fight ICE. So, okay. So it's a law. It's not enforced because of the color of their skin, because of their ethnicity, and because of the city council doesn't like the optics of it. And then everyone screamed at me that I was wrong, even though they didn't know jack shit. And I was just like, I don't know what you want me. First of all, I'm the only one at this table that knows this subject. I read an article on it.
I've heard this before.
There was a million Mexican march on City Hall with leaf blowers. They all came in on skateboards with leaf blowers.
I was in the office chair just doing circles.
That's right. They were listening to Fleetwood Mac and drinking pineapple juice or whoever that guy was. Anyway, the point is this. It's not comfortable. And so I get when Malcolm Gladwell gets up there and he's surrounded by a room of people that want him to say a certain thing, then he'll say it. But this is the problem, people. This is how we get into trouble because a bunch of fucking scared people caved and now Tin Horn Flats is shut down because we didn't support outdoor dining.
And it's a character flaw to cave. I mean, it's understandable. But
you know what, though? Is it a character flaw when something is genetically built in to human beings, like to fear the mob?
You're supposed to like
along to get along
self-preservation.
Yes,
it's in your lizard brain.
They fear that mob, man.
Yeah.
Then why are you immune to it?
No, you got to fight back. Me too. I love everybody disagreeing with me. Get at me in the comments.
I don't enjoy the feeling of ruining brunch or being yelled at by my daughter about COVID to take my shoes off. I don't enjoy any of it. I have a unique thing, which is I can remove myself from any equation. And once I can take me out of the equation and go, is this correct or isn't this not correct or correct? And then I will give the answer. But I will remove myself and my feelings from the equation.
Yeah.
That most people factor themselves into every equation, so much so where like there's extreme versions, where they'll go like people will go like, yeah, I took that guy's laptop because anyone dumb enough to leave their car window open and their laptop on the seat while they're in the Starbucks deserves that. It's like, no, you're not doing them a favor. You're a criminal.
Yeah.
But you somehow... By the way, if they stole your laptop, you'd be rip shit pissed.
Yeah.
My feeling is one mode, take yourself out of the equation. It's real easy. You treat the microwave at work the exact same way you treat the one in your kitchen, and we'll have a utopia. That's the world I'm living in. All right. Let's see. Joey Jones. Oh, we're going to check on him. You know the guy. I don't know what his injuries were, but he definitely lost his legs, and it's definitely a Middle East tour thing, and I definitely see the guy on Fox all the time. Funny dude. Got a book. We'll take a quick break, and we'll talk to him right after this. Simply Safe, I want to talk to you about home security just for a minute. For years, I just thought it was about having an alarm that goes off, once someone's already kicked in your door. But by then, it's too late, especially in LA. It would take the cops an hour and a half to show up. The problem with traditional security is reactive. It fires up after something already goes wrong. That's why I use Simply Safe. They flipped the whole model, proactive instead of reactive. Here's how it works. Smart cameras powered by AI can tell the difference between a squirrel and some guy lurking in your yard. It's about stopping crime before it gets to your front door. So don't wait until the damage is done. Get proactive protection with Simply Safe. Right, Dawson?
You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/Adam. Just head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this year. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
This September, CBS hits are streaming free on Pluto TV.
I'm coming in hot.
For this month only, stream full episodes of Matlock,
I'm a lawyer, like the old TV show.
Fire Country, Elsbeth,
I do love a mystery.
NCIS Origins, Watson, and Ghosts.
What the hell?
This is the most amazing sight I've never seen.
All for free. The CBS shows you love this month only on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Here's a memorable moment from the Adam Carolla Show's Ace Awards archives.
When are we going to reopen the schools? Because that's been, I'm in California. The schools have been closed for about a year now. Do you have a stance or policy on that, Mr. President?
Look. First, what we gotta do is figure out what your question was. Second, we gotta do is, look, you open the schools a little bit at a time, right? First, you open the front door. That's where the kids get in, not the teachers, man. Then you go down the hallway, open the hallways next. It's May or June. Yeah.
Right.
Then you start to open the classes, man. It's like the locker room, man. You can't bend over. That was Brendan there. You eat the first half first. Don't give it all away. Come on, man.
The 2025 Ace Awards, coming this December. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Johnny Joey Jones is joining us via Zoom. Beyond the Badge is the name of the book. It's available as we speak. It honors first responders and those who risk their lives for the safety of others. And I see Johnny Joey Jones on Fox all the time. I don't even, just sort of everywhere on Fox, but I don't know where I see you regularly. But it's good to see you.
Yeah, I fill in host for people. So if somebody wants a day off, they give me a call. I can sit there on the 5 and duke it out, or get on Fox and Friends and pretend to know how to throw a football. It's fun to be on Fox.
So your journey is an interesting and unlikely. Retired U.S. Marine Corps Staff Sergeant, bomb technician. Injured, lost both legs. I don't know from what point, knee down or thigh down, or what your injuries were. But why don't you kind of walk us through that, and then let's talk about the journey to recovery and where you are now.
Yeah, happy to. Yeah, I got blown up on August 6, 2010. I was working as an EOD tech, or a bomb tech. Mm-hmm. So I guess, the joke is obviously I wasn't that good at it. But so I lost my legs from above the knee down on both sides. So I have 2 prosthetic knees now. And there's a bunch of other injuries. My wrists are fused and stuff like that. But most of it's stuff I got over with pretty quick. And it was just kind of a crazy series of events. As I recovered in Washington, D.C., I started speaking for some of the nonprofits that was helping me out, and I learned about the technical kind of legislative problems that wounded veterans had, things that could be changed, and you could lobby to change, and had somebody that could speak well, maybe get attention to, and kind of involved myself in that. Learned about politics that way, learned about policy that way, and learned how to speak to a crowd that way. And all those things came together several years later when I had a chance to go on Fox to give an opinion about the military or guns or things that I was involved in or had experience in. And, over the years in 2019, they signed me. And in 2020, we had COVID. I had a home studio and they needed somebody to host. So they gave me a shot, and I've been doing hosting ever since.
Yeah, what's your take on what's going on currently? Trump is obviously trying to make up for lost time. It feels like he's trying to make up for lost time, and I'll explain. Joe Biden seems sort of inert. He just seemed like sort of like a sea sponge. We didn't really make much of an impression on the world. We took a few steps back. I think we kind of sent the world a message saying, look, you can kind of do what you want to do during this period because we're just not going to be that proactive, offensive, or do much. And it feels to me like Trump, who's always in a hurry, is out there going, I got to undo as much of this as fast as I can do it, and as many messages as I can send, as many flyovers or as many Venezuelan dinghies as I can blow up. I'm doing it.
I think Trump's coming into a second term with so much different perspective on everything. I mean, you're talking about a guy that came in, caught everyone off guard. I think our economy is kind of just held back by President Obama. I don't think it was crippled by President Obama. And he came in and just did a bunch of common sense stuff. The economy took off. Life was great for our country in a lot of ways. And then, you had COVID, and that's a whole thing we can litigate a million times. Now you have President Trump coming in 4 years later, and, blame Biden, blame whoever. Our country's kind of broken. It was broken economically, broken culturally, broken in so many ways. Our military was looking terrible. Couldn't get people to join. Afghan withdrawal, something that a little bit more germane to what I cover. And President Trump comes in and he's got a plan, and that plan includes doing things his way with his people. I mean, just look at the makeup of the cabinet. And so any of the legislative things he's pushing, it's not about, can I play this game better than they can? It's about, I'm going to take my bulldozer and I'm going to get it through there. And he's doing it with a House and a Senate that's barely Republican majority. And I think that it's something that maybe we haven't seen in a long time, or at least in our lifetimes. I mean, even if you go back to Reagan, there was still this kind of gentleman's club about it that doesn't exist now. And so making up for lost time, I don't know. I think that those 4 years in between, as bad as they were for our country, really added clarity to President Trump and what he wanted to do for his policy and just personality for being president.
No, I think in a weird way it was a mitzvah, in the sense that if Trump had put the two terms together into 8 years, he would have just sort of rolled right in. There would have been a lot of the same people. I think in life, it's probably a good idea to stop. Look, if you got married and then you get divorced, you probably shouldn't remarry in the first 6 weeks. You should probably take a couple of years, get your head straight, figure out what you did wrong in the last one, and sit back and do a little, autopsy work. Let's look at, see what we did here, and then go, you know what, next time, here's what I'm going to do. And I think that 4 years was good. Also, Joe Biden was so insanely bad as a president that I think it also gave, and I know, I'm certainly in the minority here in Hollywood, but he was such an inert sea sponge of a horrible president that he was just Melba toast. I mean, who even knows who was running the White House? But the point is it was literally like, here's a president that does nothing, who's senile, who has no concepts and no policies and really doesn't care. And there's a bigger contrast now with Trump, because there would have been no contrast if he just went back to back, because you'd only be contrasting the old Trump with the new Trump, which would be marginally different. But the difference between Biden and Trump, that is a chasm.
It is. And I think you're onto something that I've tried to find words for. And I think a good analogy is, you go to undergrad, you go to college and you get a degree in finance. And then you go right into a master's program or a graduate level program. And now you've got all this time behind you, and you didn't take time to learn if you even like this job or not. You just kind of stayed on the railroad track. And I've always said, hey, listen, no, go get a job, go get some experience, go see what works for you. Maybe you want to do something different. And I think it's similar for President Trump. You're exactly right. Had he just continued into a second term, COVID dominated in a way that it probably would still be a big part of our conversation. That might actually be a good thing, because maybe some of these wars wouldn't have happened. But I think it really did. It gave President Trump time as a private citizen to find out what really are the priorities for this country. Okay, I've had 4 years in the swamp. What are the problems there that I can tackle? Or what are the problems there that I have to tackle? And the other part of it is probably something we don't look at and give enough credence to, is like starting over all again. I mean, going from zero, not from 50 to 100. I mean, he literally had to go find people to donate, people to be a part of his cabinet, a whole new cast of characters, a team of rivals, really, when you think about RFK Jr. and Tulsi. And he doesn't have to be beholden to anyone. And I don't know that had he stayed in D.C. that whole time, it would be that way. But when you look at Joe Biden, I mean, man, you almost feel sorry for Democrats until you realize that's what they wanted. And then it's like, wow, now I feel sorry for me that I have to live with you. It really is kind of crazy to me that there are people in this country, and it's a real simple decision. They want to sacrifice opportunity for security. Right. If you talk about guns or economy or any type of really social program, their belief is, hey, I know I'm going to be limited. I know I'm only going to be able to live off or enjoy what the government allows me, but there's some security there. I won't be able to go chase my dreams. I won't be able to go take a risk and maybe even lose it all, but there's some security there. And I think that's the main ideological difference. And I guess the two presidents kind of embodied that. I mean, they wanted security from Joe Biden, knowing he was incredibly limited in his actual political talent. And President Trump is, hey, if you roll the dice with him, we might change this country for the better forever, or the Democrats might go up against him and take him down. They were trying to get him in prison. And so that difference in ideology was really represented in candidates. I mean, there are a million things about President Trump that I'm just not sure about. But I do know, as a president, he's going to go out there and fight for things in a way that nobody else has. And as far as it goes today, those things have been things I believed in.
Well, the Democrats are really tolerant about being tolerant and absorbing things, which is the homeless situation. If you just use that as a metaphor, even though it's not a metaphor, it's a real situation and it's an issue. But you just take homelessness and you take my state of California. Growing up, if you woke up and some dude was sleeping on the sidewalk in front of you or pitched a tent in the park across the street, it would have been unthinkable. You would have been like, what's this guy doing here? What's going on here? Let's get him out of here. This is outrageous. Unacceptable. You know what I mean? And then what happens is more and more and more. And it's kind of at the point where couples go out to dinner and are walking around homeless guys that are flopped out on the curb and it's literally like stepping over bodies going, the restaurant's just another couple 100 feet up the thing. And there's another guy taking a dump into a trash can over there. And your wife has to step over this person. Oh, watch out. There's a syringe on the ground. And you realize you're going to just go end up at this restaurant, and then you're going to sit there and you're going to have a meal and a glass of wine. And you're going to go, I was talking to the kids about something, and you realize, wow, we can absorb anything. We can sort of look past, the Democrats, Los Angeles and many Democratic-run cities are filled with garbage, literally garbage, graffiti, Winnebagos busted down, busted down cars, shopping carts, kids' toys, like real Orwellian hellscape garbage. And I drive around and go, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? Why is it? Why is there so much garbage? The homeless encampment right there. There's 10 guys. There's a tent. There's plywood. I'm like, what's going on? But I realized the Democrats can absorb it. Like in a weird way. They can go, okay, there's a bunch of homeless people and there's a bunch of garbage, but you can just kind of work your way around it. And Trump, who's a commercial builder, he shows up and he goes, hey, no, I don't want any of this. And then Chicago goes, hey, man, there's only 18 guys shot last week. And by the way, 11 of them survived. So what's your thing, man? And Trump's like, I don't want anyone shot. That's my thing. I don't want any garbage. And they're like, whoa, the year before, in the same week, we had 28 guys shot. This year, 23 guys. All right? So I don't know what you're doing. And he's like, I want nobody shot. And they're like, well, you got to have some people shot. And you got to have some people dying in the streets. And you got to have some garbage places ever. And it's like, no. We don't need any of it. We can have 0 people shot, 0 people dying in the streets of fentanyl overdoses, and 0 garbage and 0 graffiti if we want. And that's what It's like you talk to these guys like Rick Caruso or Trump. They're commercial builders. Like, well, you could have some homeless people in your commercial building and some garbage and some graffiti, and they'd be like, no, I want nothing. I want pristine. I want nice. And the Democrats somehow can absorb, like, how many illegals? I don't know. Maybe California has, 10 million. It's like, I don't know, or 4 million, or how many undocumented people? Like, I don't know, certain amount. Like, how about none?
Yeah, when we say Democrats, I think there's two different groups of people. There's Democrat voters and Democrat politicians. I ascribe a lot more malice and to Democrat politicians. I think Democrat voters, maybe a lot like conservative voters. They have to do their job. They have to live their lives. They don't pay close attention. They know that the other politicians are the ones they don't like, but they don't always know everything their politicians are doing. And the one thing you got to give it to them is their politicians always have some spit in your face and tell you it's raining answer for everything. It's like the opposite of gaslighting. It's like, no, I'm fixing that. Trump's the reason why that's a problem. And they just, I guess, believe it. I don't think that they're ignorant to the problem, and I don't think they always accept the problem. I think that they are believing the snake oil from Gavin Newsom. I mean, the guy that's 25 years into his 10-year plan to get rid of homelessness, and as long as the politicians are just clever enough to somehow shift blame completely away from their own failures, I guess people keep voting for them in places like where you live. It puzzles me, but I try to make rational sense of it because I just can't believe half the country just doesn't give a shit about homelessness and poop in the streets and fentanyl at the border. Like, I have to believe more people care about that than don't. Just for some reason, they believe they're politicians. But when you think about the Democrat politician element, in their minds, they've made the calculus, whether they say it out loud or not. All the fentanyl in the world is worth importing enough voters to get more representatives in their state. And that's how we get circumvented on voting is when we do a census and we count people, we don't count citizens, we count people. If you add 2 million illegals to California, they're going to get a handful more representatives. That's the idea there. You will not convince me that isn't a part of their strategy. We live in a world where the House and Senate is divided by 1 vote, 2 votes, 3 votes. Every single seat in those chambers matters, and they've given up the hard fight for the easy one. I mean, look at what Newsom's doing right now to I guess, push back against Texas. And so that's kind of where they are. It's about power. It's about keeping control because they think they can tell their voters pretty much anything they want to. And as long as they say it with a good enough smile, they'll kind of believe it. I don't know that the Republican voters are the same way. I mean, President Trump came in as an antithetical to everything that the Republicans had to offer. Jeb Bush, President Trump, pick your warrior. Look at the coalition he created. I mean, Republican voters and Republican members of Congress are a lot more independent. I mean, if you look in the Republican Senate, they don't vote down the party line very often. It's usually that's the problem is there's a handful of Republicans that are going to vote against this thing, not because someone told them they had to, but because they wanted to for some other reason. And so it's just we're more independent when you're on the right. Makes it harder to win elections sometimes, especially national elections, but it also makes you more skeptical of the people that represent you. I think Democrat voters are almost like and I hate to just lump everybody, but they're almost like the ostrich that puts its head in the sand and says, well, I can't see it, so it doesn't exist. It's not a problem anymore. And I'm blessed that as a conservative person, I don't live my life that way. I would rather see the danger coming and do what I can to fix it.
Yeah, I agree. And it is funny about Newsom and about all these guys, which is they sort of act like everything's good and they argue and they argue and argue. But as soon as the premier from China is coming to town, they clean it up real fast.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Olympics are coming to town, they clean it up real fast. Yeah. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You guys said none of this was a problem, so why are you cleaning it up? And it kind of reminds me, it's an interesting thing. It always reminds me of people. There's people that are like lazy and incompetent, and they screw everything up, and you can't motivate them. But once in a while, something comes around that they want to do, and all of a sudden, they're Johnny on the spot. They figured out everything. They're up early. They got the tickets for the concert. They booked the hotel. They've done it. And it's like, all of a sudden, well, wait a minute. When did you turn into this efficient person? And it's like, well, I turned into this person because it's something I want to do.
Yeah. Not
stuff you want me to do, which I've experienced a lot in life. So it's sort of like Gavin Newsom, if everything is fine, status quo, then why are you frantically cleaning? If you ran a pretty tight ship, let's just say your home was orderly and it was clean and it presented nicely. That's how, let's just say some people do that. Their home is clean, it's tidy, it's well kept. Okay, fine. Well, then when your boss came over for dinner, you wouldn't be frantically running around trying to clean and throw junk in the closet. And why would you? The house is in order. I mean, so it's like if any city that has to go on this frantic cleanup means that's how you are. It means San Francisco is a piece of garbage. And that's why you have to snap into action, or LA's garbage. And that's why when the Olympic Committee comes to town, we have to get rid of all the homeless people along the route from LAX to the hotel that they're going to meet at. That's a bad sign. It's the same way it's a bad sign that if the boss was coming over in an hour and you and your wife were running around throwing everything in the closet, it just means that's how you live normally.
Well, I mean, think about the argument that's happening right now. It's on kind of the same thing, right? Trump goes into D.C. and it's like, wow, miraculously, we go almost 2 weeks without someone being murdered. Mm-hmm. And so then you look at, he finds success in D.C. He points the attention to Chicago, L.A., places like that, New York. And the reaction isn't, we don't have a problem, here's why. It's, but our statistics are trending in the right direction.
Right.
And it's like, you've been in charge of this city the entire time. So when it was really bad, that was your policy. Right. When it was a little better, but still really bad, still your policy. You're telling me it's trending in the right direction, but it's still bad, still your policy. So what are you doing? Like, how is this an argument against what Trump wants to do? You said it earlier, 28 people last year. Well, it's only 23 this year, so we're getting better. Yeah, that's still more than 24 people that didn't have to die this weekend. Maybe it's how you're policing, or how you're holding your police back, or how you're hiring someone that hits enough colors in the LGBT rainbow to be your police chief. I mean, we had a fire chief down in Austin that, was not necessarily hired because he was the best qualified. And all of a sudden he denies request for emergency services to a rural area of Texas. And what happens? People die. And so those were bad policies, bad practices, hiring for the wrong reason, not making sure people are qualified for the job they had. It's not always malice. It's not always you want your people to die from fentanyl. It's not always you want your people to die from illegal pistols that gangs carry around. But even still, the policies just aren't working. Give this guy a shot. Trump's in a win-win situation with this. He made DC the plan that everybody can look at and say, oh, that's how we do it. So Democrats either have to invite him in, which they're eating crow and saying the way they want to do it doesn't work, or they tell him they don't need him, things stay bad, and the way they do it doesn't work. So he's in the catbird seat. They're in lose-lose. The problem is the real losers are the people that have to live in these cities and live with the idea that they may get shot in the crossfire of two teenage gangs shooting at each other over nothing.
Well, if you think about it, there's an easy way to kind of reach conclusions. You go, okay, we tried a little experiment called defund the police a few years ago, and it was a shit show. So why? Okay, so you go, what happened? Well, defunding the police turns out the bad guys find out they're defunded, and then they come out and they commit more crime with impunity, and there's less cops, so there's more crime. So when you defund the police and the police fall back, then you have an uptick in crime. You go, okay, well, what is Trump doing? Well, what Trump's doing in D.C. is the opposite of defund the police. It's more police. It's uniformed guys. It's a presence on every other corner. Oh, and what happened to crime? Well, it went down dramatically. All right, so let me just get this math right. When you take the police and you pull them back, you get more crime. Right. But if you take the police and you put more of them out there and have a greater presence, you get less crime. Right. Okay. That's all the information I need in terms of how crime in a city is going to work and how to get less of it or more of it. And this notion of like, well, you're going to have these guys come into town and they're going to intimidate citizens. Only if you're a criminal. I was saying to Dr. Drew, you go to a ball game, you go to a ballpark, you go to a football game. They have security. And I go there and I bring my son and we watch the Rams game and there's security. I'm not intimidated by them. I'm glad they're there. If some Raiders fan gets drunk and starts throwing punches, I want somebody to intervene. That's fine. I didn't sneak into the stadium. I bought a ticket. So I'm fine, and I don't feel oppressed, and I don't feel intimidated. I feel like these guys are here, and they're doing a job. That's fine. And if somebody said, well, would you like half as many of them there? I'd probably go, no, I might like a few more of them there. But that's fine. Either way, they're there. They're doing a job. They're standing at the top of the aisle. That's fine. I don't know. There could be a terrorist attack. I'm happy they're here. That's all. I have nothing I don't have any opinions about it because I'm not involving myself. I'm not going to run out onto the field and try to steal someone's helmet.
I always, you talked about the book I wrote, Behind the Badge, and I spent a lot of time in this issue. Defund the police is a whitewashing of the sentiment and the message that Democrats championed it from 2020 on. It was not defund the police. It was ACAB. All cops are bad. All cops are bastards. The street language and the idea behind it was an absolute assault on police officers. It looked no further than every police officer that was indicted on public opinion every time they had to pull their weapon and defend themselves and their fellow Americans against someone who was trying to do something bad. It wasn't about defunding the police. That's what Democrats want us to say. It's easy for them to argue if we're talking about the funding, because that's technical, right? Well, we didn't necessarily defund them. We moved that money over here. And sure, we would like more money for police as well. They can argue themselves right out of it. But when you really get down to it, who they were pandering to, who they were trying to rile up, when they're standing beside Jesse Jackson on the bully pulpit because some poor police officer had to pull his gun out to save his own life and the person attacking him just happened to be black. When they were getting the emotions going in the Summer of Love so people would riot in the streets, they were honing in on this idea that police officers were inherently evil, that our country is inherently racist, that the idea of having law and order is a form of oppression, and that the people that commit crimes, even violent ones, are simply victims of the system. And that was the message.
Yes.
And when you make that the message, of course you're going to have more crime. Of course, you on top of that bring in Soros or whoever funded DAs and prosecutors that refuse charges, that make bail $0, that let murderers back out on the street. It was a complex and very much a specific movement towards this. It wasn't simply, we're going to change how we spend our municipal dollars. I don't say defund the police because that gives them an out.
You're right.
They truly did attack the idea of there is a good, there is a bad, there are people for law and order here to help us, and there are criminals that for whatever reason they became them will hurt us. They attacked that entire notion.
I completely agree. And you're right. It wasn't a dollar and cents thing. It was like a visceral, emotional thing. Beyond the Badge, name of the book. It's available as we speak. Joey's on Fox whenever, all the time, it seems like to me. Hopefully I can be a guest on one of the shows you guest host one of these times.
I would love it.
I would enjoy that too. Johnny, Joey Jones, great to meet you, even via Zoom, and I hope to see you in person real soon.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. All right, that's Johnny. Joey Jones, also Jaleel White, Fun conversation. Flip side, name of the show. Then Albuquerque at the Chemo Theater, and then Flagstaff, Arizona at the Orpheum Theater. Just go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, Sam for Mayhem and Jaleel and Joey saying mahalo.